Hi, welcome back. Now we move on to fourth question. So this is about the config map and how we attach config map to a pod with volume. So let's just move on to the question. Sharing my screen. So here's the first question. So the same story. So you will have to set the context in the exam, but not here. Your tasks to create a config map and consume the config map in a pod using volume mount. Task, please complete the following. Create a config map named myconfig containing key pair key 3 value 4. First thing, okay, create config map. You can write config map or CM. I prefer CM. CM, let's copy the name and from literal for the secret and also for a config map use like you use from literal or from file from literal key 3 equals to value 4. So that is it. um so okay, get cm my conf. I'm just like validating it, right? Config map. So all these questions that all these command that I'm typing in, if you just click here, you will be able to see it. Yeah. So I will either use documentation sometimes this. Let's get CM config map just to see if the config map is already exist. My config map. It's not my config map. It's my config. It's there. And then if you want to see the data, okay, describe CM my config. You should see key. Key is key 3, value is value 4. So now let's create a pod with nginx config map containing single containers. So obviously, a pod can contain multiple containers, but here we only deal with a single container and mount the key you just created into the pod under the directory. This is my path. This is my path is the path. So we will have to assume that it has a path. So let's assume k run. I'm trying to create the file with the imperative command and then just try adding volumes to it. K run nginx config map hyphen image. It's obviously nginx image because you said nginx image. It's a single container. So let's just try run. So I'm using I think kubectl version 1.20. So that's the reason I don't put hyphen restart never. Otherwise, the old version you need to mention hyphen restart never so that it will create pod, otherwise deployment. But now you don't really have to mention that. Client and OAML. This is question 4, question AML. So now VI for question. So it has created for us. We can create a volume, right? So volumes. This is obviously a list. So you need to mention name of the. So they haven't really given any volume. So we can just say any name to the volume. So I just say my wall. Um, so you can go to Kubernetes documentation. Just say one moment. I don't know why. Yeah. So volume, just volume colon. I think, sorry, we better off searching for config map so that you will get config map, right? Configure a pod to use config map. This is the right URL. Now volume. Oh, sorry, right, volumes. Okay, so I have named it as my wall. If you want, you can name it something else, but we just need to solve the question. So you can just say my wall config map and this one. So let's copy half of it from here, half of it from the solution, so that I have that feeling that we're using the solution that I've created and put it on the GitHub. Okay, name, and the name of that is, I think, my config, right? My config. So you could do volume mounts and the same volume name that you create, and then mount path. Mount path is, this is my path. This is what we've got from the question. So we just have to believe that it's a path. So let's now move on to this one, right? So this one and this one is particularly same, but let me also use that what I've written here just for the sake of using it. Come here, name. So volume mounts. Volume mounts is something that you mount the volume that you've created, which is above. This mount path is the path that you actually have got, right? Um, it's which the directory where you're mounting. So if you just go, this is my path. Inside that path, you should see something called key3, a file, and if you just CAD that file, you should see value 4. So let's just see and make sure everything is right. Config map name is my config. So importantly, you have that my config key3 value 4, which we validated. The name of the pod is nginx config map, which is right, and the path is, this is my path. That's it. So let's save this, and now k apply. So f for question, so it's created. So now I'm just clearing the screen, and then k get po nginx config map. This is a pod. Let's just describe that and then see the volume mounts. Okay, describe per nginx config map. If I describe, if you see here, do you see this mounts is volume my path from my volume, which is read write. We haven't specified anything, so that's fine. They haven't really asked anything about that. So this is my path. So that looking good. We can also validate kubectl exec. The pod name is nginx config map. Exec cat. This is my path. What is the file? Key3, right? Do you see that value 4 that has printed? So that is it, guys. And thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're enjoying the series. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and please leave the feedback. Most important things. If you like it, subscribe. Otherwise, right? But I would advise you, or I would request. Sorry, I would request you to add some comments so that I'll improve